Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ahmed Hafez. We have some new announcements from the NDEB. It's March 24th, 2021. Our previous solutions we discussed in one of our previous videos, the NDEB is actually trying to do both of these solutions to accommodate for the AFK participants. So let's get right into it. All right, hello again. So we're going to divide this into based on the examination. So we're going to talk about AFK news, and then ACS, and then OSCE. Okay, those are the things that we have some new updates about. As a little review, let's remind you of the problem. The problem was that the December exam in 2020, this is for the AFK, was void. Okay, and then the Feb exam in 2021, this was canceled. Okay, so that is the problem. Now we have, let's call the students from the December exam, let's call them A, okay? And this is a certain amount of students, right? Let's say A equals X number of students. Now, the people that wanted to go for the Feb exam would have been almost the same amount because it was the same style exam, right? So I'm just kind of reminding you of what the problem was. So let's say these students, we call them batch B, and they also equal X. Now, people that wanted to go for the August exam of 2021, right? They are student group C, right? And I'm not sure how many they are. They could be X or less, but maybe they are equal to X, right? So now, that's the timeline. Let's go see. So what was the problem is that we had students A plus B plus C wanting to get into the August exam, which is 3x, right? 3 times the number of students that we want to take into that exam. So that is the problem. Now, a reminder is that the Feb students were canceled and they're getting a refund. So B and C will have the same opportunity in a way. They don't have any priority. Students A in the December exam did not get a refund. That's what I know so far, and that they're going to get some priority in the registration process. But the Feb students actually received their refund. Okay, so let's go through the first part of this news that regards the AFK. All right, so here we go. We got this up here now. And all right, so yeah, well, whatever. Let's get to the good part. Okay, so, and in our previous video, as another reminder as well, we talked about what kind of solutions could the NDEB do to fix this problem. And we said there's 2 solutions, right, for this AFK. So we said that the AFK, there's going to be a backlog. There's 3 times a student trying to get into the August exam. There's a backlog. It's like a blood clot, right? It's blocking the flow of the students from AFK to ACJ to ACS. And we said that the solutions that the NDEB could, this was our predictions from previous videos, if the NDEB decided to do any solutions, was increase the capacity, right, per exam. And the other solution was increase the number of exams, right? So increase number of exams. Well, guess what? Fortunately for all the AFK participants, the NDEB is trying to do both. So we were kind of right in our predictions that what could the NDEB do. The other scenario would have been that just the NDEB does nothing and there's a backlog and deal with it, right? And then more people will be delayed for doing the exams in 2022. But this is good news. So let's go through it in more detail and see what the NDEB is saying. So they're saying that their AFK exam was, they're converting to an electronic delivery way. So they want to try to do it all in Prometric centers so that they don't have to rely on any testing center like the universities or they used to use the Metro Center, and then there's the, I forgot the other one's name, but the other center now. So they don't want, they're trying to plan that conversion from in-person to online. And this will allow them to, or this will reduce the capacity though, because maybe less people could take, especially with COVID, right? So as the pandemic continues, our seat numbers were our investigating all options. Yeah, so to increase the capacity. So because of the pandemic, they could only take a few people or less people into the examination. And that was one of the reasons why they split their December exams into 2 days and their Feb exam into 2 days, right? Now, so what's their plan? for August, starting in August 2021, which is the upcoming exam, right? The AFK will be offered both electronically at Prometric centers and the original way using the booklet format in locations across the country. Awesome. So that means, so let's write this down. Let's take some notes. So they are doing solution here, number one, which is increasing the capacity per exam by doing Prometric plus the regular original method, right? Let's call it in person or, on paper exam. So Prometric and original method. Great. Okay. So that's one of the solutions. And their prediction is that this will double their capacity of the AFK held in December of last year. So whatever they did in December in 2020, this will double the capacity. Okay, let's finish this and then we'll analyze that. As restrictions loosen, we will continue to examine the possibility for larger test centers to provide as much access to the examination as possible. We expect to continue to offer the dual format. So they're going to keep doing this dual format until their, electronic capacity could take on their pre-pandemic numbers. So basically in 2021, the NDEB wanted to convert to Prometric. They're trying to do online Prometric. So now they're doing both, like Prometric and in kind of in person. But eventually they want to convert to all electronic. That's what they're doing. But they're doing it in a slow transition. So now they're offering both in person and Prometric. And they're going to slowly, once their electronic becomes that it's able to hold the same capacity that they used to do before the pandemic, which was how many? Do you guys know? If you go to the numbers, you can see it's around 700 to 800 per exam, right? Yeah, 700 to 800. So a year would be 1,500. But it's around 700 to 800 people. So if they could do that in their electronic exam, then they'll probably stop doing their in-person examinations and they'll just continue doing the Prometric center style. So right now they're going to be in a dual phase until they get to the point where their electronic is strong enough to hold enough students, the same number as pre-pandemic, and then they'll just convert fully to electronic. Okay, so let's go back to that double point here. Okay, so that means, let's analyze this here. I'm going to use a different ink so it doesn't get too confusing. So that means the August exam will hold double what they had in the December exam. So that means the August exam will hold 2x, right? 2x. So 1x will be, let's say, as x is the number of students that the December exam was able to hold, right? So let's say 1x will be taken by A because they may have priority in registering for this exam because they were voided. They already took an exam and it was void and they didn't really get they're not getting a refund. I think they're getting priority. So let's say we have only 2 x's that could take this August exam. 1x is going to A, right? And then the other x is going to go both to B plus C. So that means only half. So that means anyone that wanted to take the exam in Feb and wants to take exam in August have the same kind of opportunity to register in the August exam. There's no priority here. You're just both mixed, right? And since both of these are going to be 2x together, they can't fit. So for sure, there's going to be half of them left over, probably, right? So pretty much this x is, I'm pretty much mathematical here, but the other x for August is going to go, the other half of seats in the August exam is going to go to B plus C over 2, let's say, okay? Which is like half of those combinations, right? Because first come, first serve. We don't know that all the students from the Feb are going to get those seats or all the students that were planning to take the August are going to get those seats. We don't know which of the cycle will take it, right? That will still have a leftover. What's the leftover? The leftover is another, a mixture of B and C students, but half of them, right? Again, which is equal to X. So there'll be another, let's say, number of students that's equal to X that will be left over after the August exam that will probably originally would want to take the Feb 2022 exam. So that still leaves a little backlog, right? Because Feb 2022 already has its own number of X students. Let's call them D equals X, right? So they still already have their own number of students. So now the NDEB has its second solution to kind of try to even compensate for that backlog. So let's go back to the announcement. Okay, so the NDEB is also right here. Okay, the NDEB is also exploring the possibility of additional examination dates for, and I could maybe just make this actually, if I do it like that, we'll get, yeah, that's perfect. You guys could see that way, right? Just like that. Okay. So the NDEB is also exploring the possibility of additional examination dates for the AFK in 2021. So they're clarifying it's in 2021 to help reduce the backlog created by exam cancellations and all that. So that means the second thing we even talked about in our previous video, which is one of the solutions, is increasing the number of exams. And the NDEB is saying it's trying to, right, trying to add new exam date in 2021. So one cool thing at least we could take from all this is that the August 2021 exam is somewhat confirmed unless there's an emergency, right? Maybe everything is always up in the air. Like maybe there's a third wave where they have to cancel it. But for now, it's confirmed that they want to do it, okay? So the August 2021 exam is somewhat confirmed. So the NDEB would be planning another AFK exam between August 2021 and the end of the year. Okay, so you have August, September, October, November, December, and then Jan, right? So somewhere here. Now, if you look at it, you know, maybe somewhere in the middle is November, right? Maybe they're going to do it in November. But November, they have the ACJ. Now, I don't know if doing one exam makes it a little bit harder for them to organize another in the same month. So I'm thinking last year they did one in December. So maybe they're going to plan one in December, right? Possibly. Guys, this is a guess. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just trying to say, when would they assign another exam date for the AFK in 2021? Okay. Are they going to do it in a way where it's later in the year, which gives the opportunity? Now, if they take it, this will hold 2x, right? 2x students, which will take this other half that couldn't get into the August, which was equal to 1x, plus an additional amount of x, so another half. So half of that AFK exam will go maybe to the people that couldn't get into the August exam, right? And the other half will go to students that failed the August exam that want to try to do it again. So that's why it would make more sense to put it later in the year to fill those seats up with possible, people that failed, right? Because it might take, let's say if it takes 10 weeks to take, 10 weeks to 2 months maybe to get your result, right? If they do it earlier, like somewhere in September or October, then they'll probably only fill up half the seats they have because most of the students didn't get the result yet, right? I think from my kind of, just educated guess is that it makes more sense if they're going to have the double the capacity of what they had in December. And based on what I'm seeing here is that they will have X amount empty and everybody will have a chance in the exam. So that X amount could take any failures from the August exam. That makes it that, they clear out any backlog before they get to Feb 2022, which leaves Feb 2022 a fresh start for the group D, right? Students, which is equal to X. And it could still take times 2X, right? Possibly. Or maybe that's when they decide, hey, maybe we could cancel our in-class exams. Who knows, right? But then in Feb 2022, the whole backlog will be done and things will start fresh again, right? That's, I think, the plan, because that's when the ACS New Vision is happening as well. Okay, so it sounds like there's good news and hope here, right? We could look towards this with hope and think, okay, great. Everybody that's in the AFK has been stuck in the last year could look forward and go, there's going to be a chance for me to get into the exam. Now, the only thing you have to do is make sure you're prepared so that when you get into one of these exams, you're ready, you studied, you reviewed. Again, you could consult us, book a free consult. I'll do a consult with you personally to try to put a plan on what's your best way to plan your studies and plan which exam you want to take. And we already placed a plan for our alumni students from 2020 and 2021. They're all getting a plan to help them review before their exam, because it's unfortunate that all these exams were delayed for them, and we're trying to help out there as well. So again, that's what the AFK is like. Did I miss anything? I know it looks like I'm doing a lot of mathematics here, but it's a way to kind of put variables and quantify everything, and see how that in Feb 2022 exam things will probably be, the flow will be normal. We had kind of like a blood clot in AFK, right? And it's clogging up the flow, the stream of students from AFK to ACJ to ACS, and that's helping not increasing too many ACS students too, in a way, because the ACS didn't happen in 2020. But you could see that with the increased capacity that they're going to do in August, right, and the new exam they might do in the late 2021, plus its increased capacity to double, that will solve the backlog of students, and by Feb 2022 things will be regular, right? Hopefully. Okay, so that's what I see. And it's cool that we talked about these solutions in a previous video, and I'm like, if they want to solve it, it's this way. It's obvious, I guess, but I'm really excited that they're doing both of them, which gives you hope. They're trying to help, they're trying to do what they can, because they're kind of limited to also public health rules, and also the universities, if they want to even do the exam, right, or not. So that's it for AFK. All right, so I think the AFK news is pretty much done. And if you're an alumni student and you do get into the exam, contact us. We'll help you out with something. We have special offers for you. We'll talk about that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for AFK. If I missed anything, let me know. If you have any ideas or disagree or agree or what you think, leave in the comments below. And yeah, so let's move on to the ACS portion of this, okay? So the ACS portion, and again, if you don't know what the new vision of 2022 is for the NDEB, watch that video. It's in our channel about the new vision in 2022, because it's important to know, okay? All right, so let's move on to, again, as I said, the ACS. So the administration of the NDEB's assessment of clinical skills remains reliant on Canadian faculties to provide. So they're saying basically that their ACS exams rely on the universities agreeing to hold the exam, right? The ACS exam happens in Canadian dental universities, like the University of Toronto, the Western, the one in, all the 10, I think they're around 10. So that's what the limiting factor is, because these universities could refuse to hold the exam during COVID. The NDEB is working closely with them to see if they could do the exam, right, in 2021. As you recall, 2020 had no ACS exams. It's crazy, right? No ACS. So with no ACS offered in 2020 and the potential for significantly less test takers in 2021. So that makes you think like, wait, shouldn't there be more test takers? The NDEB is moving forward to plan its own. Yeah, so we know that for a new vision. So why is that the case, right? You might be thinking. So the exam that we have planned so far in 2021 is the June exam, right? So June is somewhere around here, let's say. So June, you have the ACS. Let's put that in the blue color just to kind of differentiate a bit. Okay, so you have June ACS here, right? And pretty much, why is the ACS going to be less in 2021, right? I think I could think of two reasons for that. Okay, so one reason is that there's less flow. Remember, we kind of looked at AFK as a blood clot. So there's less flow of students from AFK to ACS, because right now, if you pass AFK, you could start doing ACS, right? So that's one reason. Less people are getting to the ACS stage or step, right? So delays in AFK mainly, and the little delay that happened in ACJ, but I feel like ACJ is not really getting affected that much. It's still happening, but the delays in AFK and ACJ, both are delaying people to get to the ACS step. The next reason is because the vision, the new 2022 vision. So remember, the 2022 vision is that you have unlimited attempts, and the ACS exam is going to be in Ottawa in an NDEB own center. They're going to have their own center where they're going to hold the exam in Ottawa, and you're going to have unlimited attempts, and it's going to be year round, like all the time happening. I don't know how it's going to be. Is it going to be every month, every 2 weeks? But it's going to be frequent, right? You could just kind of book it and go do it. So mainly, I think most students are thinking, why do the exam now? Especially if it's your third attempt or second attempt, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm not even going to do it in June. I'm just going to wait until 2022 and do it then, right? A lot of students may think that way. I have unlimited attempts. I don't need to stress about it. I don't need to pay the cost of the $9,000 for the exam. Maybe a lot of students are not even ready for this. Like, they're not sure what's happening. They're like, you know what? I don't even want to train right now because I don't know what's going to happen. It might get canceled again. I'm going to wait until the NDEB has their own centers. So all this stuff, right? So that's why maybe there's less ACS test takers in 2021. So let's continue with that announcement there. So they are moving forward with their own built testing facility in Ottawa. This will improve access to by running the ACS year round. The NDEB expects the new facility to be up and running in 2022. Great news about that. Now there is an email that many ACS participants have received, and I can't really scroll up and down here, but I'm going to read it to you. So to continue, so that the NDEB is trying to do the ACS in June 2021, they're working with the Canadian faculties to determine the capacity of the examination. We can now confirm that the ACS will take place on June 5th and 6th. So they are doing the exam 2021 at reduced capacity at 3 locations. So basically they talked to the universities saying, please, can we do this? Who could work with us? And these 3 universities agreed. The University of Alberta, Western University, and University de Montreal. So if you're an ACS student that registered for the exam in June and you're registered in these facilities, your exam is still going on, hopefully. And maybe if let's say you registered for UFT and it didn't agree to do it, then maybe you're not going to be able to do your exam, right? So despite the reduction of reduced locations, the NDEB still decided to go forward with the ACS to just try to get as many to go through the exam as possible. Examinees who cannot be accommodated for this session will be prioritized for the next ACS session. Okay, so what does that mean? Remember that there's probably, let's say, 8 locations for ACS, right? 8 locations. Let's kind of put 8 locations maybe, and only 3 of them are doing the exam. Let's say maybe there's more locations, but maybe there's 10. I don't care, but there's only 3 doing the exams. So what happens to the other 5 locations, the remaining? Those people that are already registered, let's say UFT, and it's not doing the exam, and you couldn't book a seat in one of the 3 locations, you're going to get priority for the next ACS, right? That's what they mean, I believe, in that statement. Okay, so people already registered in these 3, great, you're in. People that are not in these 3 are in other ones. They have priority for the next ACS to go into these 3 locations if that's happening. Now, here's another comment is, at this time, I know I can't scroll down, you're not seeing it, but I'm just going to read it. At this time, we do not know if an exam will be offered in December 2021. And that makes sense. So why would they offer the exam 1 month before their new 2022 vision, right? So, it's just so close. I think all students will be like, let's just wait 1 month and be into 2022, so we have unlimited attempts and see how that's going to work, instead of doing this 2021 exam that's just 1 month. So it doesn't make sense to the NDEB to run it, because they're going to have to do it in universities and pay for that, and students may not even come to it. It doesn't even make sense to students, right? So after 2022, the NDEB will be offering the ACS regularly in their in-house test in Ottawa. We know that. Okay, check their Vision 2022 page. For those registered at one of the confirmed locations above, registration will be done on a first-come, first-served basis based on time of payment and using the originally selected location. So I think even if you're registered in one of these locations, I think that means you should still confirm your registration. So maybe there's 100 people in these 3 locations and they could only take 70. You have to still reconfirm. So don't rely on that concept that you're already confirmed. Maybe I said that and it wasn't correct. So you have to still register for reconfirm your registration in a way, and make sure you pay the payment to to really confirm your seat. We will be contacting those eligible to register by email in the upcoming days. So we'll be contacting by email. Okay, great. And then at the end, they put a little disclaimer that in any way, we could always cancel the exam if we need to because of COVID. So that could always happen. Okay. So basically, let's look here. You have the December will be, oh, sorry, I already have a December. So in December, there's going to be an ACS and an AFK, probably ACS. So the ACS may not happen. That maybe gives them an opportunity to run AFK in that month. So, you know, I'm just trying to do an educated guess. It seems like December would be the best time for an AFK second exam. It gives enough time for students to prepare, and it gives enough time for students that failed in the August to register for the December. And they're going to, if they remove their ACS in that month, then they have time to do the AFK if that's a factor. If running 2 exams is difficult in 1 month, right? Because I've never seen them do 2 exams in 1 month. So maybe the same staff members are, you know, consumed by 1 exam. They can't run another one. So if I want to guess, it might be in December. I don't think they'll do it in September, October. I feel like that's too soon, right? So that's my guess. We'll see when they update us with the actual date. We'll let you know. So that's the news with the ACS part. Okay, so June is happening, and people have to confirm their dates. AFK, awesome, it's happening. There's more hope for that they're going to start running that at a higher capacity and more exam dates. ACJ, nothing really new about ACJ, just that, you know, we know that ACJ is happening in May already, and the next one will be in November. And, you know, we have our course already online, suitable for all of these. And with our courses, you could register anytime, and you'll get in, and you'll have a long time to do them until your exam. So we're increasing the duration. We're realizing people in ACJ need more time to get that experience. So we're accommodating for that as well. Okay. Because we are planning, you know, taking the ACJ, and we continue supporting you until you pass, hopefully with the ACJ. So contact us, and we'll let you know about that as well. Okay, so that's the one with ACJ. Now, the last one is OSCE. What's happening in OSCE? So I'm going to clear out all of this here. Actually, I could just scroll down and I'll have more room. Okay, so OSCE, let's see what's new with OSCE. So here, first of all, OSCE has some new locations. Okay, cool. So let's see. Let me cross out this. So OSCE has some new locations. Its original locations, let me see here. Yeah. Looks kind of weird, right? Yeah. Let's see if there you go. Yeah. So OSCE, the locations are these: Ottawa, Kingston, Montreal, Vancouver, and they added a new location in Sydney, Australia, which is pretty cool. That means, you know, if you're in Australia, you're a graduate from, it's considered an accredited program. So you don't only have to do the OSCE and written board. And this means that, you know, you can study from there and do the exam there. And that is pretty much works perfectly with our online OSCE course that we're developing right now, and will be launched soon, where it kind of is just online. You don't have to go anywhere, and you'll be prepared for the OSCE exam. And you'll see why that's actually better now, because there's some changes that were made to the OSCE exam itself for COVID. So let me close this one. We don't need that. We already talked about this, Okay. So what's new with OSCE? All right. So the OSCE exam and written board exams, those 2 exams are the ones you do at the end. They're the, the licensing exams you do after AFK, ACJ, and ACS. And they're the exams that every graduate from a Canadian school has to do anyway. So I have to get this right here. It's a little bit weird how it's kind of, I think like that maybe. Oh, maybe this is too big here as well. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'll read it out to you anyway. So for the NDEB certificate examination, the OSCE was converted from a bell ringer exam to a booklet format. And they made this change because they don't want examinees or people taking the exam to share material or artifacts, and I'll explain what they mean by that, and to minimize their movements inside the examination center as well. Okay. that impacted our ability to administer the exam. Okay, so just to kind of let you know that OSCE exam, the OSCE part, let me use a different color here as well. I'm going to use this black here. The way it used to be, what they mean by the bell ringer method is that you had question 1 and question 2 on this station. Then you had question 3 and question 4 on this station. Then you had question, let's say, 5 and 6 on this station. So you would start here, okay? Another student would start here, and another student would start here. And you would have an answer score sheet, and you would just answer those questions. They're like kind of like ACJ questions. So that's one factor. Now, a new thing in OSCE is they might actually bring you a cast, for example, with a denture on it, and you have a probe to evaluate it. They might bring you a crown or a preparation, and you have to evaluate it. They might bring you just photos of these, but they might just bring you the actual cast or crown, or a temporary crown that you have to evaluate with a probe, or a preparation of an MOD amalgam, and you have to, or a restoration, for example, a composite restoration, you have to evaluate with a probe. So they don't want, so the way the OSCE works is every 5 minutes, right, the bell will ring and you have to switch. So you move forward and this person moves this way and this person moves this way, right? And you keep rotating like that. So that's not good for COVID, obviously. Everybody's going to start holding these gypsum models and breathing on them, and they don't want that. And plus, you're moving all over the place, right, in the center. So to eliminate that, they're switching from this bell ringer, this is what they call this method, to a booklet method, which is like how ACJ used to be, right? ACJ was a booklet method that went to, electronic, to Prometric. I'm not sure why they don't just make OSCE from bell ringer to electronic. I'm not sure why they didn't do that. I'm not sure why they went to the booklet method, that they're gonna have to print all the stuff. So I'm not sure what the reasoning was. And then they're going to go from booklet. Maybe they will transition from booklet to electronic in the future, but right now they're going to a booklet method. So what does this mean for OSCE students, right? For OSCE exam takers? First of all, previously in the bell ringer method, you couldn't review older questions. So once you do question 1 and 2 and you move to the next station, you can't go back and review that because you don't have the case on you anymore. That's it. You're done. You answer those 2 questions. Now, this is a good thing because I feel like it makes you more decisive and you can't, the stress of not needing to go back is nice. But also some people like to review. So the booklet method will give you the opportunity to review, right? Review what you want to review. So that gives you the opportunity to circle questions and move on and come back to them later if you find them difficult. Awesome. The other thing that it will provide is they can't bring any more models, right? They can't bring gypsum models or in-person, real-life preparations and a probe. They can't do that anymore. They'll have to bring you photos of everything, okay? And this works perfectly with our online course that we're going to launch soon because that's what we're working with mainly. If it's online, we'll also have to rely on photos. So photos instead of models or real-life preparations or restorations. That's the 2 changes that will be. It's pretty much similar to the OSCE, just that's the change, which may be easier because when they do the photos, they'll have to take the photo of the problem that they want you to see, which makes it kind of more obvious, right? So that's a good thing. I don't find that more difficult. I find that, whatever, if you've done ACJ, it's similar, right? Just some more subjects and more templates. So that is a change in OSCE, everyone. They're changing that. And the next OSCE, I think, is in May now. And they'll keep informing us if they change it. So they are doing like sometimes they say the March was the booklet and after that it may be station. But now they're doing the switch completely, it seems like, to a booklet format until further notice. All right, that's more than 30 minutes that we spent on this news. I don't want to make this too long. I think I kind of put all my everything that I had in mind and analyzed everything with you. Pretty much overall good news. Seems like 2022 is going to be a good year for this whole process. Even for AFK people, it's already good, right? Hearing about this. Now your job is to make sure you're prepared for the exam. And again, we're offering certain programs for that, and contact us so we could make a plan. The more students we get with similar problems, let's say, the more we could find a solution for that group of students. So again, if you need a consult, let us know. If you're already an alumni and you're going to register for one of these exams, you know what to do. Contact us, and there's a program for you. And again, that's pretty much it. We're also planning to do some ACS rental work, where we'll be opening an ACS facility and opening a rental and maybe work check, and hopefully maybe even a course for that. But that's something that's going to be in 2022, hopefully. Anyway, that is it. If you have any opinions of your own, or you think there's something cool that I missed that I should talk about, put it in the YouTube comments. If you have any other ideas that you want to talk about, if you agree, don't agree, or you think something is different, or I'm not sure, anything you want to like discuss, it's open discussion in the comment section. Okay, everyone. That is it. Scholars Dental again with you here. Check out our courses if you're doing OSCE, AFK, ACJ. We could help you out with that. And that is all, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that gave you a good informative summary of the updates, and we'll keep you updated with any new news that comes out from the NDEB. Hope you succeed in your journey and you pass all your exams on your first try. That's the best thing you could do. You know, it's doable, but you do need help. It's a lot easier when you have support, and we are here to support you. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.